For my concept map, I picked a safari map because this summer I will be traveling to Botswana, Africa for a study abroad trip, and while I'm there, I will be seeing all this wildlife up close and personal for myself. To start over here at the base camp, I placed the trait approach, the skills approach, and the behavioral approach because I believe that these three approaches are the base for all the other leadership theories. The trait approach is about the specific characteristics or traits that a good leader possesses. The skills approach is about the skills that a leader has or that they can develop, and the behavioral approach is about how a leader acts. Over here on the zebra is transformational leadership. Transformational leadership is follower-centered. It emphasizes intrinsic motivation of the follower, and the leader uses the 4 I's: idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individual consideration to help with the development of the follower. Later on the path is servant leadership. Servant leaders empathize with their followers, they nurture them, and they put the needs of their followers first. There are 10 characteristics of servant leaders that I'm not going to go over, but the outcome of servant leadership is that followers gain self-actualization and they are aware of their full capabilities. And I matched servant leadership with the camel because camels serve the needs of others just like servant leaders do. Down here is situational leadership. Situational leaders, they change their behavior to the followers and the situation. So they use directive and supportive behaviors based on the developmental level of the follower. Next is authentic leadership. Authentic leaders are true to themselves, they stick to their values and their morals, and the outcome of this is that the leader gains the trust of their followers. And I placed this one with the elephant because I was thinking of addressing the elephant in the room and being very open and honest in order to gain the trust of your leaders. So that is what authentic leaders do. Next is team leadership. Team leadership is pretty complex. There's a lot of different models that explain good team characteristics and positive team actions, but the overall goal is better productivity and problem solving within an organization. And I paired this one with the flamingo because there's 2 of them, they make a team. Next is leader-member exchange theory. This focuses on the interactions between leaders and followers. There are in-groups and out-groups. In-groups are the followers who have positive relationships with their leader. They go above and beyond the job description and they just do more. Out-group followers have low-quality relationships with their leaders and they tend to just stick to their job description and do what is told. The goal of this theory is to create better relationships and networking within an organization. Next is the hippo with path goal theory. The goal of this theory is to motivate and influence the follower using directive, supportive, participative, or achievement-oriented behaviors based on the follower and the task or environment. I think this theory is very similar to situational leadership with the directive and supportive behaviors, and I view this more as a leadership framework with guidelines of how to lead rather than a leadership style. Next is adaptive leadership. This is follower-centered, and the leader adapts to the work of the follower. So they address the issue and they decide if it's an adaptive challenge, meaning it's not clear, straightforward, or if it's a technical challenge, meaning there's kind of guidelines as how to go about solving it. And if it is an adaptive challenge, then there are leader behaviors that help assess the adaptive issue and help the leader and the follower work through it together. And I matched this one with the giraffe because giraffes have adapted to their environment with their long necks so that they can reach the leaves on the top of trees. And then last but not least, over here on the Jeep, I placed gender and culture leadership and leadership ethics because these are things that you have to keep in mind throughout all of the leadership styles, and the Jeep follows the entire path, so it's something that goes through the entire map. Leadership ethic is just being moral and ethical and putting the needs of the follower before the needs of yourself. And then gender and culture leadership is just something you have to keep in mind when you're leading, not to be biased or prejudiced against someone because of their gender or because of their background. And that is all for my concept map.